What if I told you that your performance in the gym has less to do with your body, but everything to do with your mind? Your strength, your mobility, your recovery, even your muscle growth. It all starts with a thought. Today, I'm going to give you guys some game on how understanding your mind can take your training to the next level. First and foremost, let's make one thing clear. The body is the servant of the mind. Before your body moves, your mind sends a signal. Whether you're lifting weights, you're sprinting, holding a handstand, doing handstand push-ups, it's not just your muscles working. It's your nervous system following the blueprint of your thoughts. Our physical reality, including our strength and performance, is just a reflection of our mental state. So let's take it a little bit deeper. Every rep begins with a thought. Before we hit a rep, whether it's a muscle up, a pull up, a front lever, a dip, whatever it may be, our mind is already planning these movements. So the more focused and intentional our mind is, the more efficient our body becomes. Sloppy thoughts lead to sloppy reps. Clear thoughts lead to clean and precise execution. So let's talk a little bit about what connects our mind and our body. And that's the nervous system. The nervous system is the link. So we get into two separate modes when it comes down to our nervous system. The first one being sympathetic. That's our flight or fight instincts. The next one is parasympathetic, which is more of like a rest and recovery type of deal. When you're stressed, thinking about your day, rushing through reps, your sympathetic nervous system is activated. Your breath shortens, your mobility tightens, your performance drops. But when we're present, we're focused, we're breathing with intention, we shift into that parasympathetic mode. That's where the strength, control, and the flow is at. So example of this could be with calisthenics. If you guys ever do static skills like a handstand or a front lever or a planche, you know being calm and focused is everything. Your nervous system has to be dialed in. You have to be in that relaxed state or the hold is just going to break down. So next, let's talk a little bit about mind-muscle connection. This is when we develop that connection between the mind and the muscle during training. This is essentially where theory meets results. Mind-muscle connection means focusing your thoughts on the muscles that you are working in real time. That means specifically focusing our mind on whatever part of the body needs to be engaged to complete or perform whatever movement that we have on deck. When you mentally target a muscle during a movement, it activates more fibers and it actually builds more strength. So an example of this is doing a pull-up. Instead of just yanking your chin above the bar, focus on your lats pulling your elbows down. Another example is doing push-ups. Think squeezing your chest, triceps locked out, slow enough to feel every sequence of the movement. So that focus also prevents energy leaks, and energy leaks typically is where we tend to get injured at. So another thing about mind-muscle connection is that fast reps typically aren't the best when it comes down to concentration. We're not really going to be able to lock in on the muscles that are at work when our body is moving so fast that our mind can't even catch up to it. Instead of having that fast tempo and our body and mind just going into autopilot, really slow down that movement so we can feel every muscle fiber being worked. Another thing when it comes down to mind-muscle connection is that we become our own quality control. We know if every muscle is being worked. If we don't feel our triceps working in a tricep extension, that means that we're more than likely not focused and we're not moving with intention. So next, let's go through a few mental tools that we can use when it comes down to training where we can activate that mind-body connection. The first tool is going to be visualization. Before every set, visualize yourself moving with power, precision, and control. It doesn't matter whether you're doing a deadlift, a muscle up, a handstand push-up, a planche, whatever it may be, visualize yourself performing that movement and performing it perfectly. The next tool is controlled breath work. Use slow and intentional breathing before every lift or every static hold. Breath work is really how we can shift our nervous system into the zone, so to speak, into that flow state. Breath work is also one of the most underrated aspects of training, not only for mental stability, but cueing your body on when to stabilize and when to use power. A slow inhale typically indicates to the body a stable eccentric portion of the movement, and a big exhale typically signals to the body to use force and power. And with that being said, internal cueing is another powerful tool. This is kind of hand in hand with the mind muscle connection. Don't just go through the motion, actually feel the muscles working. That's the difference between repping out push-ups and actually building strength from them. So another tool that you might see your favorite online influencer using, or you might even see some of the strongest people at the gym using, is like a focus ritual. It's funny because I have a couple friends who have their own unique focus rituals. One of them has one that I actually make fun of a lot during his deadlifts. If I have some film of him doing his deadlifts, I'm gonna put that, add that into this video. But one of the things that he does, he takes a huge deep breath, and then he rolls his lats back before he does his deadlifts. And it's something that looks like this. He's like doing that. And to me, it's super funny, but it's something that actually gets him in the zone, and it gets him super focused on the lift. And he's really good at deadlifting. So, it does work. These rituals and these cues and, these mental preparations do work when it comes down to getting our lifts in, getting our static holds in, and just really focusing on the movement at hand. Sometimes it's not always like a deep breath in a movement that we do. Sometimes it's words. I remember training with my boy James, and something that he always would say when we would train is always like, before we get into like a super heavy set of weighted dips or a weighted muscle up or weighted pull-ups or something like that, James would just be like, let's eat. And that's something that I actually took from James, because I use that now. That's one of my rituals that I use to psych myself up when it comes down to a super heavy lift or a super heavy pull up or dip or something of that nature that I need to really get a lot of energy for. And essentially what these focus rituals are doing is really just training our nervous system to get ready and to get focused for an intentional movement. And with all that being said, we have to train from the inside out. When I was down in Brazil, I had a good conversation, and I actually interviewed one of my friends / mentors, Guilherme. And one of the things that he said that always stuck with me is that calisthenics in particular is basically an internal form of training that manifests with the body. You know what I mean? It's building strength internally, and then it manifests into external strength, us being able to control our body. Essentially using our mind to build strength, and then it just manifests into physical strength and manifests into maybe the type of physique that we want to build. When it comes down to training, it's not always just about how much you can lift, how many reps you can do. It's really about training the mind as well. We build up our bodies by mastering our mind. Whether you're doing handstand push-up reps or you're trying to hit a front squat PR, intentional thought changes everything when it comes down to performing these movements. One thing I'm gonna leave you guys with is, remember that strength doesn't start in the gym. It starts in the mind before we ever even get into the gym or the calisthenics park or whatever form of training that we do. It could be the weights, it could be the gymnastics rings, it can be the bars, whatever form of training that we do. Our performance is linked to what we have going on inside of our mind. Now, for those of you guys who have made it this far into the video, if you guys are looking to take your performance to the next level, I've got a 90-day hybrid athlete program that I guarantee to take your mental and your physical performance to elite levels. If you guys are interested in that, the link for that is in the description box below. That's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have anything you guys would like to add to this is a community, so I would like to have a community discussion in the comment section. Go ahead and feel free to leave a comment of anything you guys feel I might have missed, or maybe some things that you disagree with, or maybe some kind of experiences that you guys have had when it comes down to using that mind-body connection when it comes down to your own personal training, and how you guys have had some success using your mental strength to overcome or to really lock in and focus on whatever your training may be. That's it. Hope everybody's having a great day out there. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.